everybody. Good morning. My name is Miriam Verto, and this is VeggieRx, straight from my kitchen to yours. Good morning. I hope everyone's having a great Saturday. It's a beautiful day outside. Today, welcome to week 9 of VeggieRx. I know the time is flying. Today we are going to have, or our recipe for today is purple potatoes with kale, or sauteed purple potatoes with kale. And our topic for today is going to be, well, we're going to be talking about vegetables, okay? All right, so let me start with the recipe. I'm going to go over the ingredients, okay? So the ingredients are 2 pounds of potatoes, scrubbed and rinsed and cubed, okay? You're going to chop them into kind of like bigger cubes. Remember that the smaller you chop them, the faster, so you're going to boil them, so the faster they will cook, okay? So keep that in mind, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so 2 pounds of potatoes. We're using purple potatoes because it they were in our VeggieRx box, but of course you don't have to use purple potatoes. It could be regular brown potatoes, it could be the yellow potatoes, it could be the red potatoes, whichever potatoes you have, okay, on hand. And then a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, but we're going to be using it we're going to divide it into smaller amounts as we go through the recipe. 1 bunch of kale, remember, de-stemmed and torn into pieces. We do not want the stem. Why? Because it is bitter. And then 1 large onion, and you're just going to chop that. Whatever, it's a big chop, a small chop, whichever one you want, all right? And then 4 cloves of garlic, and those are going to be minced because remember, no one likes to bite into this huge piece of garlic. And then salt and pepper to taste, okay? So it's very simple, very, very simple recipe. Just a couple of ingredients, really everything else like the salt and the oil, we usually have in our at home. So they're nothing exotic, okay? Except, different would be the purple potatoes that we're going to be using, all right? And we're going to be using the purple potato that was in our box for this week. We're going to be using the onion that was in our box this week, and we're using the kale that was in our box this week. Unless you already, you're using it. So of course, you can use it for whatever you want, but that's what we're doing with our recipe, okay? All right, so let's start. So you're gonna chop up your potatoes, and then you're gonna put them in a pot full of water, or cover them with water and a little bit of salt, and you're gonna set them to boil, okay? I chopped them kind of small, so they boiled faster than I thought they were going to. They cooked faster than I thought they were going to. They're a little mushy, but you don't want them to be mushy. You want them to be like slightly tender, but still kind of hold their form. So watch them, okay? Watch them. It's a boil. Bring it down a little bit, the heat down a little bit, and then watch them. Try to pierce them with a fork, kind of a couple of times during the time that they're boiling, so that they're not mushy, right? We don't want them to be mushy. Okay, so and then what you're gonna do is you already have your chopped up kale. As the potatoes are boiling, I want you to, which are the next steps that we're gonna do. We're gonna add oil to our pan, and then we're gonna add our kale, and we're gonna let that cook down for a little bit. Okay, so let me bring you over here so that you can take a look at what I'm gonna be doing. So let me turn this on. Remember, we are going to add our oil to this. Move my top. We're going to add our oil. And I'm cutting my recipe in half because I am doing 2 cooking demonstrations, okay? So it should be 2 tablespoons, but I'm only going to add 1. And then I'm going to add my kale, which I already have here. And it's already de-stemmed, and then you can tear it into pieces. I usually just use a knife and kind of run it through. I feel like it's faster for me, but you do what is to your liking. So once this oil heats up, we're just gonna add this kale to the oil, and this is all while your potatoes are simmering, okay? And then we're gonna reduce the heat to medium, and we're gonna cover this, and we're gonna let it cook. We're gonna stir often until our kale begins to soften and crisp slightly, which is like 5 minutes. Remember, kale is pretty tough, okay? So it can take the heat pretty well. Remember, I told you I'm cutting mine in half because I am doing a second cooking demo, right? And I like to just stir the kale around so that it's all coated with the olive oil. Okay, we're gonna add it here and just stir it around so it's all coated. And then what we are going to do, remember we talked about kale in our past session and just how great it is, full of nutrients, full of fiber, full of minerals that are really, 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 really good for our body. So that is what we love to see. So we tossed in our kale. We're gonna cover it, okay, and we're gonna let it cook, and we're gonna reduce our heat. So I had put it at high. I'm gonna reduce it to medium, and we're gonna let this cook for about 5 minutes, okay? And we're gonna be stirring it often, all right? In the meantime, make sure that your onions are chopped. Make sure that your garlic is minced. Check on your potatoes so they're not mushy. And let me show you what happened. I let somebody else in charge. Well, I took care of some other stuff, and look at what happened. So you want them to be like this, okay? So they're soft, but their shape is pretty pretty solid still. We do not want this, which is what happened. But it's okay. We're still gonna use these still. I mean, and look at how cool these look. It's a really, really vibrant, awesome, awesome color. So this is the star of today's show. Even though kale is lovely and I love kale and it's super healthy, our purple potatoes are our star for our show this week. All right. So most of us are probably used to eating like the regular white potatoes, the yellow potatoes, brown potatoes, red potatoes, probably even sweet potatoes on a regular basis, right? But here we have our purple potato. It's native to South America. And remember how I've mentioned that, when it comes to fruits and vegetables, like the darker the fruit and vegetable is, the more nutrients it's going to have. This is no exception to that rule, okay? This is the same thing. See how that dark, just watch when you chop them up. Just the color, it's so vibrant. The kids thought it was really cool, okay? This is no exception, okay? The deeper the color, the more nutritious they are, all right? So purple potatoes are no exception. They're rich in antioxidants that are found in deeply colored blue or purple produce like blueberries and pomegranates. And they help to boost immunity, and they also have cancer fighting properties, okay? They're anti-inflammatory. They can help to lower your blood pressure, which is awesome. They help to boost our brain function, and they can improve our gut health. Let's stir our kale before it gets to, see how it's crisping up? This is what you want, okay? We're just a teensy bit more. There we go. It's coming along perfect. It's crisping just like we want it to, all right? So we're gonna cover this and just let it cook just a little bit more, okay? And back to our potatoes. They can improve our gut health. They may have beneficial effects on our liver, and they can aid in weight loss, all right? So they're really full of fiber. They're full of all these antioxidants that are really good for our health. So if you want to make the switch, that would be awesome. They're also, I think, less starchy than our regular potatoes that we're used to consuming, okay? So they're fantastic, all right? So you have your potatoes are ready to go. You've chopped your onion, small chop, big chop, whatever you want, okay? You have your garlic that is minced, which is great. So now what we're going to do is we are going to add our onion and cook until it is translucent. Now, remember I said I cut my recipe in half because I do 2 sessions, but I love onion, so I'm just going to add all this entire onion to here. So now that it's already, you see how you got these little like crispy spots on the kale. Okay, so let me add the onion now. And we're going to start to let this saute until it is translucent. Let me stir it around so some of the oil that is on the kale is gonna transfer over to but I think I'm gonna add just a little bit more because I don't want it to be like super dry. Okay, so we're gonna add our onions and we're gonna cook until softened and they're a little see-through. So about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're gonna stir in our garlic to this. Okay, let me saute this since I added that extra little oil just because I want my onions to be delicious. So this is a super simple dish, okay? Start to finish. I think, well, the longest thing it's going to take is the potatoes boiling. But besides that, it's a pretty simple, really quick dish. It's a great side to anything that you want to make, whether it's grilled chicken, if you want some steak with this, you want some fish with this, what else? Or you could actually add like some sausage to this too. Like that would be great here too. All right, so we're gonna let that cook for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're gonna stir in our garlic. As our onions start to brown, we're gonna add a little bit more oil, and then we're gonna stir in our potatoes, and we're gonna season that with salt and pepper, and we're gonna cover and cook until our potatoes are completely softened, which is 5 minutes. I'm not gonna do that long because my potatoes are already soft. I left the sous chef in charge. He didn't pay attention. So they're like overly cooked. But okay, so you don't have to saute your potatoes. You can bake them. Okay, they're just like regular potatoes. I would really, really, really love to make some purple mashed potatoes, just because I think the color would, mess with the kids. I think they would really enjoy that. Okay, so my onion is starting to turn translucent. So let me let that in maybe 1 more minute. Just because I really like my onion caramelized. It brings out the sweetness that we have. Brings out the sweetness that is in it. The natural sugars that are in the onions, okay? All right, so remember today's recipe is sauteed purple potatoes with kale. All right, so like I said, this is a great side. You can serve it with chicken. You can serve it with fish. If you're having steak night, you can have it then. You can also add, what would be really good in here too? Sauteed mushrooms. That would be really, really tasty. If you want to add some type of, chicken sausage or just regular Italian sausage, I think it would go really well with this too. Okay, let me add the remaining oil, and I'm gonna add my mashed potatoes. In case you don't know who the sous chef is, Gino. In case you don't know who Gino is, it's my husband. Terrible sous chef. Okay, so these are in here now. I don't want to, keep mushing them around so they won't get mushy. Let me add my salt, and let me add my black pepper, which I also have that little fresh container of black pepper, but I just feel like it takes so long. Okay, so I'm gonna let those cook right there. I want them to kind of brown from the bottom. Okay, so we were gonna talk about vegetables today. All right, so vegetables and the importance of including a variety of vegetables in our diet. All right, so what is a vegetable? A vegetable is any plant whose fruit, seeds, roots, bulbs, stems, leaves, or flower parts are used as food. All right. So remember that, a vegetable is any plant whose fruit, seeds, roots, bulbs, stems, leaves, or flower parts are used as food. Vegetables supply many of the same nutrients as foods that are found in fruit groups. Vegetables are fat-free, naturally fat-free, and low in calories. Vegetables can be starchy or non-starchy, all right? And that is important for everyone really, but it's really important for diabetics. A variety of vegetables should be eaten because just like fruit, vegetables supply different nutrients depending on the color. Remember we talked about that. You want at the end of the day for your plate to look look like you have eaten from a variety of the food groups that we have. All right. So due to fiber content, many vegetables are heart healthy because they have fiber in them. So our dark green, your dark green colors are going to provide calcium. Remember, anything that's dark green, leafy, vegetable is going to provide calcium. They help to regulate your blood pressure, may lower blood pressure. If they're white in color, they can assist. So let me do a little bit of flipping. Don't want none of this to burn because you are looking at my lunch. I'm looking forward to this. This is my first time using these purple potatoes, by the way, and I'm really, really, really excited. Okay. If you haven't signed up for VeggieRx, remember that if you do have a PEBT card for your student or for your child, you qualify to participate in our program with the PEBT card. Okay, so come on down to 3555 West Ogden. If you know of anyone else that would like to participate, please tell them they just need to come on down. Wednesdays between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Thursdays between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Okay. Now, the cool thing about being a VeggieRx participant, besides, you get to see me, is that you also receive with your box, you also receive a pack of coupons. And those coupons work as you can use them in our store. And you can have, if you get $20 worth of produce, you can use $10 with the coupons and $10 for your with your link. Okay, so it works like kind of like half off. So it's a fantastic benefit, you know, to stretch out our money during these times, you know. So it's a great benefit. Please take advantage of it. And you know, it's great for our bodies, super healthy produce. So come on down, okay? Remember, we're gonna have a plant sale May 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Please come on down. All plants should be around $3 each. They have some great selection, but I suggest an early arrival, okay? All right, so our white vegetables, they assist with the immune system, reduce bad cholesterol, and may reduce some cancers. Yellow and orange are healthy for our eyes and our immune system. Anything red is for heart health and may help reduce the risk of some cancers. Blue and purple are heart healthy, they're good for our heart and our memory. All right. So remember, I said some vegetables that are starchy and some are non-starchy. Okay, some starchy vegetables. Some examples of that would be potatoes, squash, jicama, sweet peas, and corn. And then our non-starchies would be our carrots, our string beans, our asparagus, our broccoli, our lettuce. Okay, so when it comes to fruits and when it comes to vegetables, we want to eat a variety, all right? So we want to eat, you know, the rainbow. Remember, the darker the colors, the more nutrients and vitamins that they're gonna have. And the best example of that actually really is like kale and romaine lettuce, okay? They're both healthy, right? But if you look at romaine lettuce, it's like a really light green color. And that's because it's mostly water. And kale is this lovely dark green color, and it is definitely full of all these nutrients in it, all these minerals that are super healthy for our body, you know, and they can give us all this nutrition. Okay, y'all, I think I'm just gonna leave it just a little bit more just to get some brown on these potatoes, and then I'll be taking it out. Okay, all right, so remember, our recipe is in our VeggieRx box. It's also going to be posted on the page. You can check out our YouTube channel, our Windy City Harvest VeggieRx YouTube channel. You'll find a bunch of other recipes available too. And there's, you know, like the videos with like the cooking demonstration on how to do it. You'll see my videos there in case you want to replay any of the lessons. So check it out. It's got a bunch of stuff on it, actually. I really like it. It's a Windy City Harvest VeggieRx, all right? And if you know of any other people that would like to, that like new recipes that you think would benefit from the information that we provide, please have them search us out on, Facebook, which is the same thing, Windy City Harvest VeggieRx, or on YouTube, or Windy City Harvest VeggieRx, and they can have access to our information through those two platforms, okay? All right, so like I said, today was sauteed purple potatoes and kale. Pretty simple recipe. Like you saw, the longest prep time really is waiting for the potatoes to boil. But like I said, the smaller you cut them, the smaller you chop them, the faster they're gonna boil. Okay, so if you chop them small, just make sure that you're checking them out, and you're not get caught up like I did with this sous chef. Okay, so this is done and it smells wonderful. But I mean, onions always do, right? It smells fantastic. Yay. All right, so remember, our star of the week was our purple potatoes. But there's also more recipes that are going to be coming out, and some of them are already being posted on our YouTube channel, so make sure you check it out, Windy City Harvest VeggieRx. And look at this. Yum, yum, yum. You see that little char on the potatoes and like the crispness of the kale? That is what I want. All right, now if you are going to be doing anything else when you are boiling these potatoes, please make sure that your sous chef understands what boiling 15 minutes for potatoes is. All right, so check us out. Remember that our program will be running through mid-November, so I'll be checking you out every 2 weeks. We're going to bring a different recipe every single week, so come check us out for all this. Man, this smells really good. For all the different recipes that we're going to be having throughout these sessions. Please stay safe. Hopefully, we'll be able to kind of gather at the farm and have a cooking demonstration soon. But here it is. So we have sauteed purple potatoes and kale recipe. And remember, today's lesson was our vegetables. Remember, as always with fruits and vegetables, eating a variety, eating different colors is key, because we're getting different nutrients from all the different food groups, from all the different colors. So it's always good, you know. What is it? Variety is the spice of life. There you go. Okay. All right. So I'll check me out in 2 weeks. I'll be posting, you know, to remind you to come in and join us for our sessions. So for the meantime, be safe, please. And I'll see you soon. Thank you for joining us.